Even so, Perfect Round episode 9 turns the romance into pure emotional collapse, pushing the central relationship between Ian and Hiju into its most painful stage yet. The episode picks up immediately after their contract marriage secret is exposed, triggering a full blown public scandal that spreads across both the royal court and the corporate world. Ian and Hiju, despite being deeply in love, are forced into denial by circumstance and pressure. Ian is more about his feelings after initiating a kiss in the previous episode, but Hinju continues to suppress hers, prioritizing survival over confession. That emotional imbalance becomes even more destructive once the arrangement is revealed. The palace turns hostile, with officials questioning Ian's legitimacy and humiliating him in political discussion, while Hiju faces backlash in her corporate environment, where her reputation begins to unravel. At the center of the chaos is the growing realization that both of them care more about protecting each other than protecting themselves. Their love is no longer subtle, it becomes the reason they keep making self destructive choices. The court scenes intensify this pressure, especially when E Rank publicly attacks them, framing her actions as concern for the kingdom, while clearly acting out of personal opposition. The episode also deepens the political conspiracy. Ji Woon's betrayal is revealed, exposing his alliance with E Rang in an attempt to undermine Ian. His motivations are tangled, part ambition, part obsession with Hiju, and part resentment towards Ian's position. The reveal of poisoning related secrets tied to Ian's father adds another layer of danger inside the palace, showing that the conflict is no longer just emotional but deeply political and potentially deadly. One of the intense sequences come when Lord attempts to manipulate the young king against Ian. Ian snaps under pressure and physically threatens him, showing how far he has been pushed. But the real emotional turning point arrives later when Hiju, completely exhausted by humiliation and political fallout, kneels before her father and asks him to protect Ian. In the same breath, she asks Ian for a divorce not out of lack of love but as a sacrifice to keep him safe. This moment lands as the episode's emotional breaking point. The performance elevates the material significantly. EU delivers a restrained but heavy portrayal of Hiju, balancing dignity with emotional exhaustion as her world falls apart from multiple directions. You carries the character's pain through subtle expression rather than overt breakdowns, making the sacrifice feel grounded rather than melodramatic. On the other side, Byeon Woo Seok plays Ian's collapse with controlled intensity that eventually breaks into visible rage and helplessness. Byeon Woo Seok effectively shows a man torn between royal duty, betrayal, and love he cannot protect. John Woo's actor also stands out for avoiding one note villain portrayal, instead, mixing obsession and regret into his betrayal, which keeps his action unsettling rather than purely evil. Thematically, the episode is built around sacrifice, reputation, and power as currency. Love exists here but is constantly punished by political structure and public perception. Every decision Ian and Hiju makes comes at the cost of status or safety, and the system around them is designed to exploit that weakness. The writing reinforces how quickly reputation can be destroyed in both royal and corporate spaces, especially when scandal becomes political ammunition. Visually and structurally, the episode remains strong. The palace sequence feels oppressive, and the editing of betrayal reveals, especially Jeon Wung's alliance with Irang, is handled in a way that gradually recontextualizes earlier events without feeling overly confusing. However, the episode does lean heavily into repetition, particularly in how often the scandal is rehashed through different confrontations, which slightly dilutes the impact of newer development. By the end, the show fully commits to emotional devastation. Hiju's divorce request reframes everything that came before it, not as a rejection but as the ultimate act of protection. It leaves Ian shattered, the audience conflicted, and the story positioned for an even more painful fallout going forward. Thank you for watching. Bye.